What is going on YouTube? Today I have an awesome video for you guys. I have the Apple AirPods Pro 3 or third generation. Now I have really been looking forward to these. Now before I really get into this video, I want to tell you two things. This is going to be just an unboxing and first impressions. I do plan on making like an actual full review after maybe a couple weeks or a month's worth of use. And second is how I make my videos is like if I'm sitting down, I'm talking to one of the homies, like what would I tell them when I am purchasing one of these products? Should they do it? What would my advice be? All the nerdy hours I spend on all the subreddits for tech like this is going to be stuff that I, kind of regurgitate back to you guys. So hopefully you enjoy the video. If you do, drop a sub, like, comment. I love hearing from you guys. Other than that, let's get right into it. Oh, I didn't go all the way around. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the boxage here. You have the AirPods embossed, AirPods Pro, Apple logo, AirPods Pro 3, wireless kit, blah, 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 blah. Okay, no one really cares about any of that. Let's get in. No unboxing knife necessary. All right, nothing there. Let's leave that in view because that looks pretty sick. Designed by Apple in California. What do we have here? AirPods Pro. Look, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to read any of this, but just in case you guys are curious, let's say step one, control panel, pair them, all the different size tips, noise cancellation control in the control panel. There's a heart rate sensor now. There's a little QR code to scan if you want to learn more. Pretty neat. It's got like the little AirPods control things on the stem, if you didn't know that already. Press and hold. This is actually new to pair. There's no longer a physical Bluetooth button. You have to double tap with the case open to activate Bluetooth pairing mode. And I have actually heard that some cases are having issues allowing that to happen. So just something to keep in mind if you do plan on getting a case for these. You have MagSafe charging, Apple Watch charging, USB-C charging, and these two charging methods are a big reason why I'm really considering going caseless, which, by the way, getting into one of the first topics of discussion here, the dimensions of the AirPods Pro 2s and the 3s, the case itself is different, as well as the buds too, but we'll get into that a little bit. So if you do have an AirPods Pro 2 case that you love and enjoy, like this Balroy one, shout out to Balroy, it is not going to fit on the AirPods Pro 3, unfortunately. All right, let's file that to the side. What's this? Warranty stuff, question mark? Oops. And I'm not going to look at any of that. Okay. All right, let's file these to the side for one quick moment. See what else we got here. There's a little pull tab, and we have our extra ear tips. Oh, there's a QR code. Wonder what that's all about. How does one open? Oh, okay. Just unfolds. You have XXX small, just in case you wanted your baby to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast or something. I think that is the newest size. Those are adorably small. I cannot even fathom how young of a child those are meant to fit. And then you have extra small, small, medium is installed on the earbuds, and large. And one new thing about these tips is that the tippity tip of them are foam infused, so there is a little bit of memory retention that'll help with ANC and all that good stuff, help with your seal and whatnot. But unfortunately, if you did want to buy these from the Apple website, they are not backwards compatible with the AirPods Pro 2 or 1 because the actual stem that these go onto is redesigned from last year's model. All right, I'm gonna leave my phone here in view just in case any new cool pairing stuff happens. Don't mind whatever show this is on my phone, and my wife is watching something on the Apple TV, and yeah, just don't worry about whatever that is. All right, so pull tab. Okay. Okay. All right, come on. This is some intense. Do I just ink it off? Oh, that didn't feel too intuitive. That was that was really on there. Okay. And check this out. I got myself a proper engraving. That actually looks pretty neat. And just so you guys know, I am about it. It is so much harder to see on the AirPods Max. Focus. You see that? That little focus. There it is, right there. Yeah, so continuing the trend, it is laughable how unnoticeable that is on the AirPods Max. But I have that on all my Apple listening devices. All right, moment of truth here. Let me just leave that there. Give these an open. You get the white light. Leave it next. Oh, a little dingaroo. And I never noticed this, but there is the engraving of whatever you got on this little notification there. So you can see the little rock on symbol is actually right here, and that is pretty cool. Connect. You heard a nice little ding from the AirPods case. Place both AirPods in your ears. Okay. Let's see what this says. AirPods Pro include newly designed ear tips. Gently adjust the angle and rotation of each AirPod to get the best comfort. Now, one thing I heard as well was some people are like downsizing the size of their tips with this new like ear tip type of thing. I don't even have the OG AirPods tips on here. These are some Aslas. I think I'm going to keep the stock on these because the technology sounds real cool with the foam and whatnot. But I did rock a medium on the AirPods Pro 2. So let's see if the medium is going to fit me on the AirPods Pro 3. All right. They are both in my ears, and that feels so comfy already. Possibly more comfy than the AirPods Pro 2, but I have to really give that some more testing. Okay, so how do they feel in the ears? AirPods Pro should feel comfortable and secure. The new ear tips may feel slightly firm at first. If adjusting AirPods in your ears doesn't help, you should try different tips. Now, these feel pretty great, but let's just see what it says about changing ear tips. All right, so you give them a little yank, remove the ear tip by firmly pulling for a better grip. Turn the ear tip inside out or use a microfiber cloth or tissue. Now, I highly suggest doing that because I've seen some people ripping their tips already, and you always want to be gentle with your tip, you know what I'm saying? Find your ear size. AirPods Pro include 5 ear size tips. Try different sizes, adjust them in your ear. You may prefer a smaller size or a different size in each ear. I found my size. Stock ones are pretty great. Media control. Press once to play, pause, accept calls, and mute twice to skip. Oh, too fast, too fast. Swipe up and down, volume control. Yada yada. Listening modes. Hold on either AirPod to switch between noise cancellation and transparency. Okay. Control center. AirPods control. Noise cancellation. Transparency. Yeah, we know that. Personalized volume. Automatically adjust the volume of media in response to your environment. Huh. Okay, well, let's just see what that does. Conversation awareness. When you start speaking, AirPods Pro will lower media volume, reduce background noise, and enhance the voices in front of you. Sure. Control your AirPods by moving your head. Oh, and I can hear my voice now that I just turned that setting on, and that transparency sounds so natural. It's insane. Okay, I love saying yes or no to notifications, so I will turn that on. Track a workout with a heart rate. Now this is new. So instead of rocking an Apple Watch, you could start a workout on your phone. The heart rate sensors on the AirPods will actually pick up your heart rate and track it. So if you don't want to wear a watch for whatever reason, or just not an Apple Watch, this will still count how many calories you burn and all that. Live translation. So you hold both of these little ear stems, and then it will translate just like, the whole Apple commercial that you've seen before. And you have to download the languages you want to be able to converse with. So I'll just download Spanish because why not? Protect and enhance your hearing. All right, so you got hearing protection. Use AirPods Pro and transparency to protect your hearing in noisy environments. Take a hearing test. Another life hack is you could use that hearing test to apply a personalized EQ, which is pretty neat. And hearing assistants, you could actually kind of use these for like hearing aids. But I really don't feel like taking a hearing test right now. And they come 25% charged and 59% on the case. Yeah, downloading some languages. Alright, I feel like the only right way to do any kind of comparison is by taking this case off of my old AirPods, which has lived on here since I got the case. So I don't even know how to properly take this off. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Okay, I'm gonna need like a tool of some sort. I'm not getting sweaty, you're getting sweaty. Shout out to iFixit. All right, so one of the first things that I've heard a lot of people say is the quality of the case has gone down in the AirPods Pro 3 for whatever reason, and you could kind of barely tell this is a little bit bigger. Now, the actual battery life on the case has gone down, but the battery life on the buds themselves has gone up. So now we are getting 8 hours on the buds themselves, and that is with active noise cancellation factored in. So you may be wondering, is it worth upgrading from the AirPods Pro 2 to the 3? And let me just kind of go down a little rabbit hole here. Again, if I was talking to my friend, this is exactly what I would say. How often are the AirPods updated? Let's say usually 3 to 5 years, AirPods Pro. And how often do you use them? If these are a daily occurrence of usage for you, and you have new batteries, better sound quality, which I'm going to check here in a second, and all of these features for $250, and these are a 3 to 5 year like tech item that you're going to use with you, like it's a no-brainer. Even if you've only had these for a year, like give them to your mom, your grandma, your dog, whatever it is. Like, tech is the gift that keeps giving. if you make that grown-up money and you could afford to upgrade, like I don't see why not, if this is something that, you know, you want and you use every day. I think one thing that is really going to make it or break it for me with the AirPods Pro 3, in my opinion, is going to be the sound quality. Now, let me go down a little rabbit hole here. Now, I am huge on true wireless earbuds. You got some Bang & Olufsen, some of my favorite all-time buds that I have ever used. You know, Jabras, I've tried the Sonys, the Bose, what have you. I even got some Beats because I do like running. I'm currently training for a marathon. I've even gone down the rabbit hole of trying IEMs, the Sennheiser IE200s. I just released a video on, if you guys want to check those out. And these are just absolutely glorious. The Audio Hype 4s, I will be making a video on these soon. Have the AirPods Maxes, Sony Alamino XM5s, and you know, all the stuff. I'm saying all this to say sound quality is a huge deal for me. But with all that being said, nothing beats the utility of carrying some AirPods Pro around. Like the last trip I did from Japan to the United States, I brought my Audio Hype 4s and I use these like 90% of the time. But when you want to, I don't know, make a FaceTime call or walk around without a wire hanging or just talk on the phone or go to the gym and not worry about, you know, your nice IEMs getting messed up, these are absolutely fantastic. And I actually ran my first marathon with AirPods Pro 2s. The only problem I had with them is that they ended up dying like a third of the way into the race, which 8 hours. Now, look, I'm not that slow, so hopefully these will last the entire time. These are my main running earbuds now because of that hook, but these are like, what is it, IPX58, dust and water resistant, something like that. I could be butchering it, but these could basically, you know, possibly survive a washing machine like incident. So I'd be curious to, I'm gonna give these a run. That's gonna be a part of my full review. But let me just close this out with an actual audio first impressions, and then I'll leave it there. If you guys have any questions or comments about anything that I've said so far, please leave them in the comments down below. I am going to check these out for, you know, what they're actually made for, playing sound in your ear holes. So let me give these a go. I already think these are extremely comfortable. You can't even tell that they are a design difference from last year, but I can feel something going on there, and I'm liking it. All right, let's pop them in the ear holes. All right. So one of my most, like, I guess my litmus test of audio is Playing God by Polyphia. I listen to this song so much, and I feel like this gives me a great idea or a baseline of what the new, whatever new audio device I'm listening to. If you haven't heard this song, give it a listen so you can hear exactly what I am listening to. So let me kind of sit back and soak this in, and then I'll give you guys my initial thoughts. All right, I've listened to a pretty good amount of this song, and right off the bat, I gotta tell you, they are extremely different sounding than the AirPods Pro 2. Now, one thing that they did change with the 3 is, of course, the drivers themselves, and then second is like the airflow of the bud themselves to allow the difference of like, so this is going to sound maybe a little nerdy or whatever, but the way that air flows through an earbud or like an IEM, for example, if you see there's vents here, it allows for the movement of the air, which is essentially how that sound is introduced into your ear canal. So the way that the air holes are made in the AirPods 3 change the sound signature as well quite dramatically. And what I think I am hearing here is kind of a overly accentuated like Harmon curve. And what that means for you non-audio nerds is a very big, a smiley EQ. And it is a shame that there is still no EQ. There's a bunch of dumb workarounds like going to the music settings and changing your thing to like balanced or acoustic, but there's no true EQ of moving dials up and down at different frequency response curves. And you could also like put your hearing test into the app that will kind of mold the sound to your ear holes for you personally. But initially, just from that song, a lot of sparkling highs in the treble zones. The sub bass is dramatically boosted, and I don't mind it right now. I think these will be a great workout earbud because it is very fun and exciting. But I thought it was very interesting. Like Dave 2D thought the AirPods Pro 2 actually sounded better, and everyone's hearing is subjective, and that's why it is such a shame that you can't EQ these, because if you aren't into the exciting, punchy bass with sparkling trebles and you want a more flat and neutral tone, then you're just not going to get that from the threes, at least from what I have heard so far. These are my first impressions. I'm really going to get into these, but let me listen to a couple more songs and see if my mind has changed. So for those that are curious, this is the next song. It is one I recently found, but I've really been liking the mix for this for testing some audio equipment that I have. So if you're curious about the second song that I'm listening to. I have to say that the soundstage on these is dramatically improved as well. And what I mean by soundstage is one of those buzzwords that you probably hear some audio people use all the time. Uh, it almost sounds like I could clearly define each instrument and pick it out and listen to the details of it a little bit more. So that's something like a high quality pair of IEMs will allow you to do. Not something that the AirPods Pro 2 did for me personally, but again, there's a heavy accentuation on that sub bass. I am a fan of that, but you may not be, and that is going to take a whole bunch of weird tweaks to get how you want it to, like taking that hearing test, going in and actually changing the sound settings in the little like Apple Music app or whatever. But again, no EQ, so you kind of get what you get. But that Harman EQ curve that I talked about is just something that a lot of people like these days. And again, if you're using these for working out and hip hop, EDM, and all that, this is going to sound absolutely fantastic. So this is a first impressions video. I will be getting the 17 Pro Max because one little Easter egg that I do not know how true this information is, but I saw it on the internet on Reddit, so it has to be true, is that the new 17 models with that new Apple modem in it is going to be using a wireless transfer protocol that is not Bluetooth with these, that will be able to send music over higher codecs. So think your DAC, your aptX lossless, things like that, when AirPods Pro 2 are only SBC AAC. So theoretically, you could send higher file codec songs, possibly lossless, over to the AirPods Pro 3. Now, Apple has not confirmed this. Some nerd went into some code and saw this, maybe, question mark. So with that being said, because of how much I care about audio, I'm getting a 17 Pro Max. Unfortunately, here in Japan, it's not coming until mid-October. We'll see if I could spot a sound difference between these two. Maybe I'll include it in my full review, but it could possibly be something that Apple reveals at WWDC or something like that. So just to be ready and not to feel like I am missing out, I'm getting the 17 lineup, and of course some other reasons I'll get into when I get that phone. So that is all that I have for this video. It was quite a long one, so if you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like, sub, or a comment. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. It truly does mean a lot. I'm going to be doing a lot of testing, so stay tuned if you would like to see my final thoughts on these. And yeah, thanks guys. Alright, had to grab the thumbnail real quick. I can't afford a thumbnail editor, so this is what you guys get. Alright, catch you guys later.